Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Life with Hasna. Right now, I am feeling rather the opposite of amazing. As far as now, I earlier had congestion, my throat, I had a cough, a slight cough, and just irritation in my esophagus. And I was okay. I rested a bit. I did some writing in the morning, did some reading. I rested a bit, and then when what would I say? And then when I went out because I wanted to get a massage, I've only had 2 massages since I've been here, and I thought I was gonna have a massage every day. So I went out to the temple where you can get really good massage for a good price, and everyone says it's amazing and cheaper than other places. So I said, let me try this for the first time because massage helps your immune system. So I'm walking with Yorena to the temple, and I'm just walking so slow, and I feel hot, which is not usually what you feel when you have a fever, right? But you feel cold. But anyway, something's going on with my body, and either it's just the weather, because during this time of year everyone gets like this, but part of me feels it is a combination of things, including maybe some light detox symptoms, because I notice that whenever I do all fruit and hardly any greens for a few days, it feels like, from looking at my tongue, that there is detox happening. So other than that, I've been feeling really good. Like yesterday I felt great, the day before I felt great. It's just today I feel really drained and really low energy, and like all I'm going to be doing is staying in bed, or taking it easy. So that's basically it. That's the summary. This is day 4. This morning I had a delicious coconut, lime, orange smoothie. There was no pineapple. Then later on I made a mixture when when she went to the market. She came back with watermelon, more pineapple, and I made a couple of smoothies with that. So yeah, I'm just trying to drink more. I'm really bad with drinking water, but we will see. We will see. So that's it for that. Meanwhile, even though I'm feeling the way I am, I'm a bit excited because I have revisited a older piece that I wrote, having to do with Ibn al-Qayyim and Bukowski, Charles Bukowski. And I explain in the article, which I'll put in the link. It's on my blog that is also fresh and new, and it's just starting. So a person can read it and get some understanding of how you can have 2 people living in 2 different periods of time and on opposite ends of the spectrum, and yet when it comes to a concept they can use very similar words. And not to say mundane everyday things like, oh, the sun is bright and shining, or water is wet. Not like that, but to say something that shows a individual who ponders, a person who reflects. And I think it's very important for us to realize that, for those of us who want to be aware on a higher level, that taking in a lot of information is not half as beneficial, or a tenth as beneficial, or a hundredth as beneficial as taking one idea, one concept, one story, one verse, one quote, one realization, and truly pondering over it. Different aspects of nature, sitting down and thinking, or allowing the lessons to come to you. And of course, on some level, this takes removing distraction. You cannot expect your mind to be clear if you are distracted by other people's business, whether they're people in your life or whether they're some, celebrity person who's in the media. You can't expect to get that clarity, or remove distraction if you're in the hustle and bustle. Sometimes if you're, having a regular job, a standard job, You can't expect to get clarity if you're, usually I should say, if you are not doing other practices and still eating, meaning some spiritual practices, some cleansing practices, some connecting practices, and then you're eating a standard, now American, Western, globalized diet of lots of processed foods and pasteurized foods and foods that aren't alive. And again, our body is made up of cells. Every cell has an awareness, every cell has a consciousness, every cell has a purpose, every cell has a job, every cell has a life. And life gives life. Death does not feed life. And so if our cells are made up of what we eat and they rely upon our food for nourishment, then what we eat for their energy and to carry out what they need to do, they have a job to do. And sometimes we're making that job difficult by what we're feeding our body. So that's important for us to realize that, again, for those of us who want to get to a higher level, that while we can overcome a quote-unquote bad diet that's majority non-living foods, while we can overcome that with other practices, if we don't have those practices and we're eating that diet, it's a mess. It's truly a mess. And so I think that's what I love the most about individuals like Ibn al-Qayyim and, yes, Charles Bukowski, because they pondered. And it's sad when you look at Bukowski's life because he was abused when he was younger. He went through a lot of difficulties in his life. He didn't have certain opportunities that other people had. And with that came a certain mentality. With that came certain practices to cope with depression, to cope with what he felt at times was a miserable existence and an empty life, an emptiness that he said that even in the best of times, this void that you feel will not be filled. So I was looking more into him today, and I was excited about that because I love learning and I like making comparisons and bridging between worlds that don't seem necessarily to meet, but everything is connected to some level. And